Good afternoon. That decision caught a lot of people in the courtroom off guard today. This was, as a result, a very emotional day in court. Family of the deceased, Rekia Boyd here, raised their voices in the courtroom. In fact, they swore at the judge in different cases after being told to keep their feelings about his decision to themselves. It was an outburst in an emotionally charged case involving an off-duty Chicago police officer with an unregistered gun and a black female who was 22 years of age shot by him back in 2012. Here's how it played out in court just a few hours ago.
The absence of any evidence of reckless conduct renders it unnecessary for this court to consider whether the defendant was justified in his actions. Indeed, it would be improper to permit the trial to continue, given the total failure of proof on the issue of recklessness. Simply put, the evidence presented in this case does not support the charges on which the defendant was indicted and tried. Therefore, the motion for a directed finding is granted. There is a finding of not guilty on all counts, and the defendant is discharged. Court will be in recess.
Judge Porter read his decision and the room exploded. Rekia Boyd's brother screamed and yelled. He said, "You killed my bleeping sister and you want me to be quiet?" The hollering continued outside as Officer Dante Servin tried to leave the courthouse. We've kept the sound down for our viewers, that is, because the language was so intense and so strong. The crowd of protesters calling Servin a killer, a murderer, and much worse, chasing him down the courthouse steps. The anger in their voices was heard loud and clear today outside. Heavy security in the courtroom earlier did not stop this angry crowd from shouting in court about the sudden shooting death of Rekia Boyd by a Chicago police officer. Dante Servin, the cop in this case, calls this 2012 incident near Douglas Park a tragic accident. The judge said charging Servin the way that prosecutors did with reckless actions, reckless, the key word here, of course, is what prompted the judge to enter a directed finding of not guilty on all charges. That means prosecutors did not prove their case, and the defense, Servin, did not need to put a case of his own on. Servin walks away and presumably goes back to his job on the streets. The Boyd family says their fight is just beginning.
I think it was a mistake for the state's attorney to charge me, but I also explained to the family that if this is what they needed for closure, for me to be charged, I hope they got what they were looking for.
I had an outburst, a major outburst. You know, to clean it up, I said more to the effect of, how can y'all let him go? He murdered my sister. My sister's never coming back, never, never. I would never be able to call Rekia again.
When I heard the judge's decision, I almost passed out. I'm not happy with the decision that was made. I'm not happy at all.
The Boyd family says they will not rest until the officer is held accountable for the death of Rekia Boyd. The FOP, Fraternal Order of Police, they were here after this decision as well, and the chief there believes that Dante Servin never should have been charged or been considered really the bad guy in this case, and how he went from offender from victim to offender is unclear to him. We're live outside 26 in California. Julie Unruh, WGN News.
Okay.